Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Ladies and gentlemen, this video here will be a quick tutorial on how to use rattle can spray paint to camouflage your rifle, shotgun, whatever the case may be, even your friggin' automobile. We're starting off at the muzzle end of this Mossberg ATR, I think is what it's called, something of that nature. It's a entry-level bolt action 308 rifle, and this particular one was sold to my friend with a big tank brake on it, and you can see the tank brake. But we're not going to worry about the features and so forth of the rifle so much in this video, as we are going over what it takes to break up the outline of a rifle and, you know, help you out to prevent you from being seen. Okay, first thing first, you got a big round hole on this thing, and that is really hard to disguise. Okay, but basically what you want to do is you want to bring in some light and some dark, and it helps from a distance to conceal it. If you know what you're looking for, this big tank brake right here, it would be easy to see. If the light was hitting it at a certain way, it may help with that. But any round hole like that, you're not going to see that type of perfectly round hole in nature. By comparison, look at the scope cap. Okay. See how I've got it broke up? I've got light tan, I've got light green, and dark brown, light tan, light green, or a darker green. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing to open. Alright, now you see that big black hole right there. The anti-reflection device that I have on the scope on my Mossberg prevents that. It helps that a lot. And I may pull it out here in a minute and show you guys, but just wanting to show you. But you also notice inside that cap, I've also got it spray painted. The inside of the sunshade, I spray painted it also. You can see down in there, if I can get the darn camera to focus. But you can see at a certain angle that having that lighter color in there would help diminish that round black hole, because you can see it really well right there. Okay, so there are certain things you can do to break them up, and where it would be dark because of the way it's constructed, you want to make it light so it helps eliminate or break that up. When I did this, I took the caps off and the sunshade off, and I taped up, just put tape flat across the front to prevent any paint from getting on the lens, and I double coated that so that it helped with that, eliminate that completely. Don't forget the rear one. Okay, see if we can get the darn camera to focus. Now there's nothing you can do, nothing, beautiful word, nothing you can do, of course, to the ocular lens itself and its coloration, but you want to do the same thing, tape over it where it's flat. But look at that. See how that breaks up that dark, see how black and dark it is and sharp and crystal clear. Now that, it's not. Same thing on that other side. Okay, same exact thing on that other side. Want to break it up. But you can see there's a straight line right here, and then of course it angles off a little bit. But you know, that's one. Those are little details that'll help break up the outline of the rifle. Same thing with the turrets. You know, you got to cover up your numbers, and I'm probably going to go back with a brush and break up that straight line right in there. Also did the same thing up here, because this in here is the second focal plane, and you got to be able to turn it so that it'll focus correct, and that's where your scope cap's going to get in the freaking way. But that cannot be helped with the flip out caps. 20 yards, 35 yards, 50 yards, 100, 200, infinity. and then of course your original 5-yard setting. And that's one of the things there. Now I did not think about that when I was painting it, but you got that quite a bit of black there. A touch-up brush would be very helpful. The overall paint scheme is a dark brown, and that's what I colored it with, or a dark green. I would go with brown because, you know, you're going to be close to the ground, and the leaves and pine straw and so forth will make the ground darker and lighter browns. And then I went over it and added the greens, and then I added a little bit lighter brown, which was way too much red in it, so I ended up misting it with a dark brown. And then you've got your light greens like here, and then you've got your light tans. The thing is you got a long straight line, okay, from the barrel down the stock to the butt, okay, and you're trying to make some vertical coloration on it in order to break it up. I think I needed a little more here and maybe here on the end of the barrel, but you can see that's not camouflaged against my bench, and it breaks it up. I mean, it's just really hard to see that straight line if you're not really focusing on it. Same thing with the bipod legs. I don't remember if I painted them with them out. Let me look. And as you can see, I forgot to deploy them all the way and paint those also. So that is a factor that could possibly get your head caved in or blowed off in a fighting combat scenario. So let me move the bulldog out of the way here. So you can see you got two black lines leading up to the camouflage rifle. So that's something I need to break up. Probably do that with some a small brush like you'd find in a model car kit or whatever for the paint on it, and add some camouflage to those legs, because it's in the details. It's that small little thing, like that big round freaking hole right there. I mean, you know, that will give you away. So, but again, this is a base coat only, and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to draw out a rifle right quick, and we're going to show you how to layer the camouflage paint coloration in order to get the background, or get it to blend into the backgrounds you're going to be dealing with. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Dug out the Mossberg Patriot Rifles Super Sniper, and you can see that is with the anti-reflection device, and I have painted it so you don't have a massive black round hole there. Now, because these turrets are so big, you can see they stick out pretty damn bad, and I'm going to do something with that today. But I wanted to show you guys the difference between that scope and the other scope. I placed this rifle on the floor just to get it out of my way, but you can see as you move down and in front of it, you've got a nice big round black hole. Okay, so an anti-reflection device in military applications is an absolute must. Okay. Okay, while I have it out, let's take a look at it right quick. And you can see we've got where the tape came off, but that makes a nice ragged edge. So that's fine. You can see the little bit of a glow here, the black, huge freaking turrets on it, and of course that. But again, we're talking a base coat only. You know, if you're not adding natural foliage and so forth to it, you're just wasting your damn time, really. Well, natural foliage and the like the scrim that I've added to the straps on this backpack. Okay, you can see that, but you can see here where I've helped color it up, but it sticks out. Remember, I have a cape that I made that just it is a backpack cover, also a cape that covers that entire backpack. But from the front, I'm carrying a thing. I've got these here to help break up the straight lines of the darn straps. Same thing would apply to your scope and or your rifle. Okay, same thing would apply. Okay, quick sketch. I inked it in so it would show up a little bit better after I drew it out. This is just a quick sketch, ladies and gentlemen, and this may or may not represent your particular bang stick, okay? But it's a traditional bolt action with a more modern removable magazine. Of course, it has a bipod, and then of course you have a massive freaking scope on top, just for cheek rest, blah blah blah. So like I said, it may or may not represent your idea of a rifle, your particular type, or whatever the case may be. So just wanted to give an overview and outline of what, you know, we're dealing with here. So now I'm going to quickly shade in everything with dark brown, and we'll go from there. Okay, instead of doing a dark brown, I'm going to start out with a tan, and the reason why is because you can't overlay the brighter colors on those dark colors with the color pencils. It won't work that way, and I stopped myself before I ruined the damn thing. So this is a tan, and here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. This, you got to go outside where you're going to be operating at and look, okay? Take photographs, whatever. Depends on the time of the year, depends on exactly where you're at. Maybe yours will be better in blue and pink. Who the hell knows? It depends on where you're going to operate. Okay, that's the number one thing about camouflage. You cannot use one color scheme to work everywhere. That multicam sounds like a great idea, except for one thing. If the entire background is brown or black and you're showing up with all these speckly, beautiful, bright colors, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So it is simply a base. So let's get that squared away right off the damn bat. This is a base pattern, and that is it. And if you think that one color scheme or one anything will work, you're wrong. But anywho, got our base color. Now let's start applying. We're going to go next with dark green. Okay, we've added some dark green to it. Okay, let me point out a few of the things that need to be illustrated here, okay? Like right here in this bottom corner, it doesn't go all the way out to the end. Okay, you want a little bit of tan. And this right here will go all the way out to the end. And trying to do this through the damn viewfinder is a pain in the neck. This one here does not go all the way to the top. It just starts here and ends right at the bottom, goes under the bottom. Don't forget the bottom of the rifle now, ladies and gentlemen. I'd have some inside the trigger guard, just a line here and on the outside of the trigger guard, as well as here, and then maybe on your magazines. I didn't add that. Let's quickly add a piece, a little bit of green, and these color pencils. They're not the best in the world. And a stripe across the leg. Okay, see, it's easy to do that. You want to do the inside of the caps, the outside of the caps. Turrets, just add a little splash of color. Okay, maybe a touch on that round turret. Okay, like that. Let me zoom in with the camera on these little details here. I got the camera to focus. You're not going to cover up the entire surface. Okay. You're going to have a little bit on one corner or the other. Maybe a stripe across it. You just have to look at it and see. Same thing here. You don't want to cover up the entire scope mount. Just a portion of it. Same thing here. And it doesn't have to be this way, ladies and gentlemen, exactly like this. I mean, I'm just giving you an idea. Okay. Base color, then your next color, and you want it as random as possible. You can see this one's got a leg sticking off and a leg sticking up. This one here has a leg coming from here to here. All right, you got some coming down the scope mount as well as right on the end of the bolt piece, or some coming over the top of the bolt. Make sure the bolt is installed and locked and closed. Okay, grease anything you don't want paint to adhere to, and you can wipe it right off. Okay, A little touch on the magazine. You don't want to forget the trigger guard, the trigger itself, inside and outside of the trigger guard, inside and outside, or front and back of the magazine release, if it has one, such as this, AK-47s, M14s, FALs, many of your bolt guns. You can see here we got one going, you know, pretty much vertical, but we've got fingers sticking off of it. Remember, if you have adjustable cheek pieces to rise up out, just like on the bipod where I screwed up, raise it all the way out of the way, paint under it so the line is continuous, and then lower it back down. Okay, this is almost vertical, but it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. You know, a little randomness. Okay, and of course on your barrel you got a spot here, here, and here that also comes down to the front of the stock, but it's not a solid color across that front of that stock. Okay, so now let me add I don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll add another color and see what we've got, but that's what we've got so far. Okay, I went ahead and added some other colors, and this is pretty busy, pretty intense the way I've got it, but you don't have to make it that way. You can just make it green, brown, tan, light green. You know, that's the thing. But you want it random. You know, this is not as random as I would like to have done it, but I'm just trying to make this a quick video to help you guys out and to illustrate, you know, just a way of breaking up the overall outline. Now, if you laid this in front of the correct background, it would really blend in pretty damn good. You got to remember, you need to do the rear of the stock, including the recoil pad if it has one, because you know just the circumstances. I mean, circumstances change. Your arm may not be there with the camouflage, your ghillie suit, or the camouflage pattern that you have on it, and you got to remember it has to work in the environment, and this is why. Okay, last weekend it was beautiful, and then Wednesday it was raining, and now this. Okay, circumstances change, weather changes. You know, you would go from that camouflage to a freaking bed sheet, basically, in order to cover this. But look at that. Raining is butt all, or raining, snowing. Old Ford's covered up. But circumstances change, so your camouflage has to change with the whatever circumstance you're in, because one minute it may be raining, next minute sleeting, next minute snowing, and your weapon, you know, will stick out like a freaking sore thumb. So there you go. Okay, so I took the sunshade and the cap off, and you see beautiful big black hole. And you can even see the reflection of the lens. A bit of camouflage burlap later. A little bit of camouflage burlap. You can buy it at just about any old hunting supply store. And a touch of tan paint. And bam, you just broke it up. See how much harder it is to see? Let's zoom in on it. It's easier to see the barrel, the muzzle brake, the opening to it, than it is to see the camouflage on the scope. Just blends it right in. Okay, there's you another lesson. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, two ways to solve the same problem. I made that screen for my buddy Jimmy's rifle just out of a simple piece of burlap, and I cut it out big enough that it would fold over, and then I just took the scope cap, cut and took it off, pushed it on, pushed the or laid the camouflage burlap on there, and then just pushed the cap back onto the scope, and a nice snug fit. I had to add a little bit of tan to break up that round hole, which with the light like this, it's even then you're gonna have a shadow, but you can see if there's any light on it how it breaks up that round shape. on old Betsy, my rifle, I'd made a tube and used a piece of camouflage material and put on there, and you can see it also does a good job at it. But that cheap scope there, I'm not going to do a whole lot with it. You can't buy all the accessories and all. And really, I need some taller freaking rings. These are very tight fit with the camouflage sleeve on there, and you can see I need to do something with that damn button there. I did some more work on her camouflage scheme, old Betsy, and you can see there's some gray and so forth in it, because there's a lot of gray in our woods, and right now I've got to repair. Okay, we're going to show you guys there's two ways, or there's two different ways of doing it. I was doing this video already and I hit the wrong damn button, and I don't know if it lost or not, so I'm going to reshoot it. You can see Betsy, my M14, is sitting there, and she's got her partial sleeve on, and one of them things broke on it, and so it's just hanging loosely at the rear. But you can see I've added some gray and some different colors of brown to mine, and then of course there's Jimmy's rifle there. But the point of this, I'm gonna go up here to the front. That's more light to the situation, and you can see both of the scopes. I took a piece of the burlap camouflage that he bought and cut it out and just slid it, the cap, the scope cover thing on it to hold it in place, and had to take it off and add a little bit of bright colored paint to it so that it wasn't so damn dark, because it still made a big black hole. It is easier now from a few feet away to see the muzzle brake, the muzzle itself of the brake, than it is to see the damn scope. So the job worked, but there's not much you can do with the muzzle brake. If you tape over it when you fire, that piece of tape or whatever will fly off and could give your position away. Then over here you've got Betsy and her flash suppressor, and it is a lot harder to see. Not impossible, mind you, but it is a lot harder to see because of the way I got the colors on it. I need to add some more brighter colors, but that thing is so freaking humongous. And of course the camera does not want to, there we go, it focused. And then you can look at this scope on the left and Betsy's, and what I did there is I made a cardboard tube and just put some mesh camouflage netting over it and taped it all up, and you can see right through it, no problem, and it works really well. But again, it's sort of mashed down and flattened from being in the backpack. That's fine. You can still see through the scope just fine. I've already tested it out and it works perfectly fine. But it's just two different ways of doing the same thing. And on his rifle, that dang gun muzzle brake is a monster. I think that's developed more for 338 or whatever, but they had it on the rifle and it does look really good. But I bet it makes a hell of a boom. Okay, one more quick thing while I'm thinking about it. This is looking directly pretty much down the muzzle of old Betsy. I got a light shining on it because I want to illustrate this. Okay, got a flashlight on this booger, but I got a cover over it. Now I don't have the cover. Okay, let's aim that light a little bit more in there. You see how brightly that shines, and it shows up so freaking much and so easy. If you got a light on your damn rifle or your shotgun that you intend on carrying into combat, you need to do something with that crap, because that will get your head blown off. That is a piece of cardboard. The cover here, that is a piece of cardboard. It's just, I just made it into a tube. Okay, cut a piece that's slightly bigger around than the bezel of the flashlight. Then I made a tube and I just taped it all together with camouflage duct tape. And I got a string. Okay, it's got a knot on this end, it's got a knot on the other end, but it's tied to it so I can just pull it off and let go of it. I don't have to worry about moving it or it being lost. Okay? So that is something to definitely think about. All right, turn the light off, it still shows up. Look at that. See that? So that is something you definitely want to work on. Make damn sure you got that covered up, because that right there will give you away so damn fast. And of course at night, as soon as you click it on, bam. But this is more for like house clearing or whatever the case may be, going into tunnels, whatever. But that's something you need to think about. Look at that freaking muzzle brake, or that damn flash suppressor. Boy, that thing came out so nice. I am here to tell you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before I end this video, I was just looking out the window, and I was editing the video together, and I was speaking about how circumstances change. This has been maybe an hour ago that I shot the video dealing with that circumstance, and look what has happened so far. And you can hear I'm getting a text. Scout's making a video or some sections, and he wants me to edit together for video for our Shade Tree Survivalist channel. If you haven't subscribed to that, you should. You should not see any commercials on it because I do not have it monetized. It's for the guys. But you can see how quickly the temperature has risen, and you can see just how quickly, and sorry about that, I know that's loud, but you can see just how quickly it has changed. And within 1 hour, it was almost solid white, other than the ditch where the water's running and out on the road. But now it's dramatically changed. Give it another hour and most of that'll probably be melted off. So, ladies and gentlemen, the end of this video right quick. If any one person tells you there's only one way to camouflage anything, politely tell them to take a flying screw at a rolling donut, because they're full of crap. Okay? You can see I've done quite a bit of work to old Betsy since the last video. There was not enough brown, and there's a lot of gray out here, and greens and so forth. And you know, there's plenty of different ways to do it. And on top of that, this is the other thing. This is the other big key thing. It's like I was demonstrating with the snow. Everything's subject to change, okay? And as you're moving, your environment's going to change with you. And if you're not paying attention to that, it's going to bite you on the hind end. It is going to bite you on the hind end. I do not believe that camera is focusing like it ought to. Alright, got it in there. Just got to keep an open mind. You cannot think there's anyone truly, you know, the one absolute way to do it. Your environment, that is the key. You need to know where you're going to operate, how you're going to operate, whether are you hunting a deer, or you hunting bear, or you hunting whatever, gremlins, gnomes, snowflakes. You know, we got tons of snowflakes outside the door this morning. So you have to be cognizant of that. You have to be aware of that at all times, and you can move stealthily and not be seen as easily, and do what is necessary. So just, you know, keep an open mind and understand that there's plenty of different ways to camouflage these rifles. Just depends on where you are at in the world. And when you have people come on here and you know, I did a Minuteman test video with the Minuteman standing on my gear to see how fast I could don my gear and get the hell out of Dodge. And well, the gray man theory, this, that. Now let me tell y'all something. If you're on the internet, number one, or have a smartphone, number two, they more than likely know whether you are actually a Second Amendment supporter, a free-thinking American citizen. And if the government were wanting to crack down, they would institute roadblocks and identity checks and so forth, the same way the commie bloc did, the Germans did in World War II and all of occupied Europe, and on and on and on. And if you don't have this ID, if you are a known person, like in the original movie Red Dawn, the boys were known, they were looking for them. Because they got all the rifles and ammunition and all the other stuff from that man's store, and of course the Russians or the Cubans or whoever shot the man as a supporting guerrilla activity. So you may be able to get away with it to a certain degree, but if you don't remain flexible, you don't understand that, okay, this is I live in the woods, so woodland pattern camouflage is or something of that nature is more along the lines of what I'm needing. But if I go into town, it would be a completely different setup. I'd have to improvise, and that's a video we're going to do in the near future. I'm not exactly sure when. We're going to work on urban camouflage more than the traditional woodland and or arid terrain camouflage and so forth, such as, you know, the camouflage pattern on this hat. This would work okay here, but this is more of an an arid terrain, such as the desert, you know. Yeah, we've got some ideas on that, but the rifle, I've had people ask me before how to do it. You're just trying to break up that long straight line. You're trying to make it so it's not discernible as a long straight line, as a solid object, you know, to break it up. And the highlights with the brighter colors and then alternating with darker colors, it helps break up the outline really well. But again, this is a base coat, and it's, you know, you still have those solid straight lines. But if you put it in front of the right background, the right terrain you're going to be working in, this is going to work really well. And then you just got to mask those big black holes. And like I said, on this humongous muzzle brake, that'd be very hard, but you can see how easy I did that on the scope cap. That's just a piece of burlap, camouflage burlap material. I added some tan to it because it was really dark, and I added that tan to it, and you can see it worked really well. You can see the muzzle brake, the muzzle itself, a hell of a lot easier than you can either the cap or the hole going down to the objective lens. And as I demonstrated with the my Mossberg scope with the anti-reflection device, you throw in some brighter colors and various colors onto it, man, works really, really well. But anywho, this is Mac Daddy 1911A1. I hope you guys not only enjoyed the video, but you learned something from it, because, you know, there's no absolutes. I mean, the moment you think, well, this is the greatest camouflage scheme that's ever been invented, that's the moment you're going to be in deep crap. Okay? So y'all take care. Thank you very much for watching. More to come as time and money and whatever else allows. So y'all take care. Thank you for watching.